A few betrayals are loud. They shake the global and go away a clear mark. But others are quiet, silent assaults that slowly wreck someone from the inner without everybody noticing. It started out like a normal morning at the presidential palace. In Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, everything seemed equal, however something felt strange. The hallways, generally complete of gentle footsteps and coffee conversations, were unusually empty and quiet. The standard sweet scent of jasmine plants coming from the garden smelled sour that day. President Ibrahim Trrower sat on my own on the edge of his bed. He had an odd steel taste in his mouth, something that had been happening for 3 weeks in a row. He hadn't advised everybody, no longer his advisors, now not even his spouse, but a caution became constructing. As an educated soldier, he had found out to pay interest when matters did not feel right. Then something surprising occurred. Something small, however effective. That nighttime, for the duration of dinner, Traoré sat with his spouse Jamila and their 12-year-old daughter, Aminata. They were taking part in a quiet meal together. Aminata turned into doing her homework at the table whilst she all at once regarded up. "Papa," she asked softly, "why do your vitamin shots odor like the cleaning chemicals we use in our science?" "Lab?" The entirety stopped. Traoré paused, his fork frozen in midair. "What do you suggest, sweetheart?" he asked evenly. Aminata blinked and said, "Yesterday, while Dr. Khan gave you your shot, I smelled something weird. It becomes sharp and candy, like the liquid we used to keep frogs in biology elegance." Jamila chuckled gently. "Seems like we have a bit scientist inside the circle of relatives," she stated with a grin. But Traoré didn't smile. He had seen struggle. He had walked through traps, via deserts, via ambushs. He knew that risk rarely proclaims itself loudly. It whispers, and every now and then it speaks via the mouths of kids who see matters that adults ignore. That nighttime, whilst the relaxation of the palace slept, Traoré made a quiet but life-saving decision. He wasn't scared. He became cautious. The following time Dr. Khan gave him an injection, Traoré secretly saved the used syringe. He carefully accumulated the small amount of liquid left inside and sealed it in a smooth, relaxed vial. He advised nobody. He made no noise. He took no risks. 3 days later, beneath the duvet of a routine diplomatic go-to, he flew to Morocco. At the surface, it was just some other state trip. But hidden in his jacket pocket was the vial, a tiny field that could give an explanation for why he changed into slowly getting weaker. When he reached the Casablanca laboratory, he met with the director privately. "Please test this for any chemical compounds utilized in agriculture," he stated quietly. "Do a complete toxicology test. Take a look at for everything." He failed to screen who he became. He didn't sound involved. He acted like a calm man asking, "A easy want?" But he became watching and waiting. 3 days later, the results got here back. The message turned into dispatched via a private encrypted line. "Mr. President," the lab director stated carefully, "your sample carries artificial cardiotoxins. They may be military-grade chemical compounds. They may be made to slowly damage the heart through the years." Traoré failed to panic. He didn't display fear, but inside time regarded to stop. The person he trusted, along with his lifestyles, his personal private health, practitioner, had been slowly poisoning him for over a year, a bit at a time, enough to make him weaker daily, but no longer sufficient to attract suspicion. And still, Traoré did not react with anger. He didn't fireplace the physician. He did not confront him. As an alternative, he made a plan. He ordered a devoted military medic to put together innocent saline solution, just salt water. They could use this instead of the poison. The medic replaced the poisonous injections with the secure ones. However, Dr. Khan never noticed. To hold the act going, Traoré continued to foe. He changed into getting worse. He acted ill on reason, coughing, feeling dizzy, pretending to lose strength. He made positive the whole lot looked normal, but behind the curtain, he commenced asking questions. Who in reality turned into Dr. Khan. Why could not they find statistics of his clinical diploma from Switzerland? And most disturbing of all, Why had 3 other African leaders who have been also handled by using Dr. Khan in the past died from unexpected coronary heart failure? Then came a discovery no one anticipated. One day, electricians in the palace had been doing habitual paintings on the strength device. They observed something atypical and uncommon sign coming from a tool in one of the rooms. When they traced the supply, they observed it hidden in Dr. Khan's portable EKG system, a device used to monitor Traoré's coronary heart. It wasn't just a scientific device. It had been secretly changed to ship real-time statistics every heartbeat. Each exchange in blood strained via 7 hidden networks and the final vacation spot, Tel Aviv, that night. An emergency meeting was held in at Ease Underground room. The lights were dim and blue screens lit up the faces of the president's maximum depended on advisors'. Absolutely everyone changed into quiet. The room felt cold. "Sir," whispered Intelligence Chief Siaga, "they have been watching your heart. Every beat, every signal, every change in your health." Traoré didn't say a phrase. He simply stood and stared at the machine at the table, a system that should have saved lives now become a weapon built to kill. And nonetheless, he didn't raise his voice. Because men like Traoré don't reply with loud anger. They reply with patience, with planning, with precision. What Burkina Faso's intelligence team discovered next became stunning. This tool wasn't regular. It turned into constructed with expert talent. It may hide its personal indicators. It could change the facts it sent. It become clever sufficient to recommend how lots poison to present and whilst. It turned into adjusting the dose in real time. This wasn't the paintings of a lone killer. This turned into something an awful lot bigger. This became Mossad, the Israeli intelligence enterprise. Physician Khan had not been a doctor who later became a secret agent. He was skilled as an undercover agent from the beginning and then have become a medical doctor just to get near to his goals. But Traoré nevertheless didn't break his silence. He stored planning with calm, with readability, and with the thoughts of a person who plays the lengthy game. For the next 30 days, President Ibrahim Trrower became the presidential palace into something like a theater. Every room became part of a carefully staged overall performance. Every moment, each breath was designed to fool one guy the health practitioner sent to kill him. Traoré allowed this health practitioner see what he desired to peer. He pretended to be weak. He staged episodes where his coronary heart raced too fast. He acted like he had hassle respiratory. On the proper moments, he clutched his chest and showed signs of tightness and pain. It all appeared so real that even experienced docs wouldn't doubt it. However, none of it became real. The palace medical group turned into part of the plan. They pretended to deal with him. The army secretly adjusted his heart rate and blood pressure before every exam. Professionals, skilled in psychological war, introduced info sweat at the forehead. Mild shaking in his hands, the sound of suffering breath, to make everything appear greater plausible. Even the machines lied. It changed into a performance, a carefully crafted phantasm of sluggish, consistent decline. In the meantime, the physician referred to as Dr. Konat saved sending secret messages to his handlers. Traor's intelligence group intercepted every message, recorded them, and analyzed them. The messages had been cold and medical. Gold deteriorating as predicted, very last phase authorized. Top-rated window February 15th to 28th. The plot was clear. They wanted to kill the president using a staged coronary heart attack at some stage in a regular scientific checkup. It would appear natural with no proof left behind. No one might be capable of show anything. It might appear like simply some other unexpected dying. But Traoré now knew the timeline. He had precisely 18 days left to forestall it. Then, on February 12th, just 3 days before the planned assassination, Traoré struck first. The national television all at once interrupted everyday programming. A surprising assertion regarded President Ibrahim Trrower had collapsed all through a private cabinet assembly. Grainy video pictures confirmed an ambulance speeding through the palace gates. Roads had been blocked off. Newshounds whispered about a possible coronary heart assault. The news unfolded like wildfire. By nighttime, the complete area turned into "Speaking, President in crucial condition," the headlines read. Rumors exploded. Some stated he became unconscious, others believed he become already useless, but the fact was some distance from what the arena noticed. Traoré changed into very tons alive, hidden deep beneath the palace in a cozy operations room. He sat frivolously. Round him have been depended on officials watching the broadcast unfold precisely as planned. The entirety had been staged. It was bait, and Dr. Khan took it. Believing his venture changed into a fulfillment, Dr. Khan started sending pressing messages through encrypted channels. Method a success. Concern expired within applicable parameters. Requesting immediately extraction. His handlers believed him. They gave the inexperienced mild. He changed into informed to go to Ouagadougou airport. A personal plane might fly him to Tel Aviv, where he might disappear, secure, blanketed and rewarded. But the airport changed into no longer his breakout direction. It was a lure. As Dr. Khan walked out of the cozy gate location, awaiting safety and silence, he instead saw something terrifying. A complete line of Burkina Faso's elite security retailers stood awaiting him. Their weapons have been raised. Their faces have been like stone, bloodless, unreadable. And then, from an unmarked vehicle, a figure stepped into the nighttime mild. It became him, Ibrahim Trrower, alive, calm, carrying his signature pink navy beret. The dying African sun caught its color, casting an extended shadow behind him. The wind swept throughout the tarmac. However, his voice turned into firm and sharp, cutting through the silence like metal. "Dr. Khan," he said steadily, "I consider we need to revisit your knowledge of medical ethics." The physician iced up. His knees buckled. He stared at the person he notioned become lifeless. That is not possible," he stammered, his voice shaking. Traoré did no longer increase his voice. He failed to want to. "The readings," he said, "were curated. The deterioration styles designed. Every cough, every heartbeat turned into a breadcrumb to guide you right here." And that became best the start. When intelligence retailers cracked Dr. Khan's encrypted devices, what they discovered taken aback even the most hardened analysts. It changed into a mystery operation with a chilling call, Operation Hypocritical Otha, plan that spanned 12 African nations. The purpose: quiet assassinations disguised as medical remedy. There have been 15 agents concerned. Every one of them have been trained with the aid of Mossad. All of them had been working undercover as excessive degree physicians. They'd built relationships with African presidents over years. They won consider, they presented remedy. But their real undertaking changed into silent homicide. They used pollution that slowly weakened the heart so it would look like natural growing older. They injected materials that could cause strokes during moments of political stress. They even used chemicals that mimicked memory loss, causing older leaders to appear burdened and mentally undeserving. It all was invisible. No person suspected a component. Dozens of deaths have been recorded as natural, but now the truth had popped out. Dr. Khan became supplied limited immunity in trade for full cooperation. He gave all of it up: names, dates, locations. Within 48 hours, security forces launched coordinated raids in Mali, Niger, Ghana, and Chad. Every U.S. located someone hiding in simple Saida, physician in a white coat, smiling politely, in government hallways. Everyone had been weeks, every so often days, far away from killing any other president, but it wasn't over yet. Traor's chief of intelligence, Seogo, stood in the presidential briefing room. His hands trembled as he spoke. "Mr. President," he said quietly, "we've got observed energetic operations in 11 extra nations. Every leader is already marked for elimination in the subsequent 6 months." The silence that accompanied was heavy, a silence packed with sorrow, pain, and obligation. Traoré said nothing. He walked to the window and looked out over the city as the sun disappeared in the back of the horizon. The capital became quiet. But the struggle they'd simply exposed changed into now not a war of guns or bombs. It became a conflict fought in silence, with white coats, with faux prognosis, with poisoned belief. This became not just a tale of survival anymore. It became a combat for Africa's destiny, a warfare for sovereignty, a conflict for fact. And now that warfare had a call, one through one, he reached out to the leaders marked for loss of life. No ceremony, no protocol, just a calm voice slicing via encrypted static. "Mr. President," he said to Niger's leader, "you need to isolate your personal health practitioner and have your blood tested for artificial cardiotoxins. Your lifestyles relies upon it." The effects got here again quicker than anticipated and some distance worse than feared. Every unmarried chief examined high-quality 12 presidents. 12 countries all targeted straight away. Their deaths? Time to spark a wave of destabilization that could fall apart the continent from inside. But the actual breakthrough failed to come from generation or surveillance. It got here from a man already defeated, Dr. Khan. Dealing with lifestyles imprisonment, stripped of his false identity and with nothing left to bargain, made a very last provide that made Traoré's fingers tremble. Complete intelligence at the entire community in change for immunity and relocation. They met through relaxed video link. Khan's voice cracked, eyes whole. "The system," he said, "is extra than just surveillance. It is activation prepared." Traoré leaned ahead. "Activation for what?" Khan hesitated. "Emergency overdose. If any operative is compromised, Tel Aviv can remotely trigger deadly toxin releases through the clinical devices." The room fell silent. Traoré's pulse became the only sound he ought to pay attention. They weren't combating assassins anymore. They have been standing on the edge of a synchronized execution event. A mass political wipeout in time became vanishing. What came next might be studied for generations. Traoré did not order a sweep. He did not panic. He deliberated for 2 complete weeks. The 12 centered leaders carried on with public appearances, kingdom obligations, and clinical visits whilst in the back of closed doors. The most sensitive counter-operation in African records opened up. Every piece of scientific gadget turned into carefully swapped out with identical dummy devices. Every chief persevered to say no, nevertheless showing signs and symptoms. Every injection now added not poison, however antidotes administered via depended on military medics. Not a married operative suspected a thing. And then, at exactly 300 p.m. West Africa time on March 15th, throughout 12 international locations, synchronized arrests were done with breathtaking precision. Every final clinical assassin became captured in a single coordinated strike. The ripple became on the spot. In Tel Aviv, command terminals went darkish throughout the intelligence world. Jaws dropped. An inner sealed struggle room in Ogado, Traoré reviewed the decrypted documents Khan had helped release. What he read shook even the maximum pro-operatives. Operation Hypocritical Oath. It changed into simplest Section 1. Section 2 had a call that felt like a prophecy. Continental reset. After the silent killings, meantime governments might be installed, sponsored by means of overseas interests, led by using puppets with polished resumes and empty loyalties. Every new regime might signal sweeping contracts, surrendering cobalt, lithium, rare earth minerals, signing away the veins of Africa to foreign arms. This wasn't just about electricity, Traoré said to the emergency African Union consultation, his voice regular in the great corridor of Addis Ababa. They have been making plans to very own us. The corridor fell into silence. Then got here the typhoon. Within 30 days, the African Union enacted the medical safety protocol. Every foreign medical expert now required full clearance through a Pan-African intelligence database. Scientific device imports required triple lab certification from independent African institutions. And perhaps most significantly, 47 nations signed the Continental Intelligence Percent, a real-time continent-wide defense network. For the first time in modern records, Africa wasn't reacting to infiltration. It became preventing it. As of today, all 15 captured operatives stay imprisoned on African soil. Their tails preserved to unravel comparable networks across Asia and Latin the US. 17 more assassination tries stopped earlier than they could begin, and the person who dismantled the most state-of-the-art scientific assassination community in records, he did so without elevating his voice. without firing a shot. He honestly noticed what others missed. He listened to a baby. He played chess while the sector performed struggle. And in doing so, he proved something the world had long forgotten. Africa is not asleep. Africa isn't naive and underestimating. African intelligence is the deadliest mistake any adversary can make, because now and again the quietest man inside the room is the one writing records.